Let's face it, the Ridley Report's philosophy division is kind of sloppy. For a real discussion of freedom philosophy, you need freedomainradio.com.
Hopefully I can lure you into having a listen.
That's Stefan Molyneux's operation. There's a weekly call-in show, 7 books, 1,000 podcasts. Tune in now. freedomainradio.com.
Okay, anyway, Granite State Progress?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. But you're with a coalition of groups? Or?
Well, sir, this is actually sounding like a pre-press interview, so I'd like to hold off.
So you guys you're trying to keep anybody from talking to the press, is that right?
No.
Dave Ridley here, signing in for RidleyReport.com. This January 30th, I believe, 2009. I'm making my way over to the State House for a couple big bills that are coming up. And as always, hoping to interview some reps and senators about the inherent violence in most of the bills that they support. Now, this first one coming up here at, I guess it'll be 10 o'clock. There's a bill to cap state spending. But probably before I get around to being able to cover that, something else will come up. So let's see what happens when I go inside. The New Hampshire State House is one of the last legislatures in America where you can walk in armed. You can carry weapons inside. A bill to try and change that last year got only 11 votes in the 400-man legislature. Many of the senators and legislators here actually are armed and come to the building armed.
All right, so as expected, there's a different story unfolding here today before I get to the spending cap. Folks here to have a news conference to support a bailout. That may explain why there's so few people here.
Bailouts aren't popular even in the increasingly authoritarian United States, and they're really not popular in New Hampshire.
To do any pre-press
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
interviews?
I'm audio recording.
I'm sorry, what?
What were you saying?
The coordinator of our conference is asking that we not do any pre-press interviews, but we respect your being here, and thank you for being here.
Oh, all right, thank you. What's your name?
My name is Sarah.
Okay, anyway, Granite State Progress?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. But you're with a coalition of groups? Or?
Well, sir, this is actually sounding like a pre-press interview, so I'd like to hold off.
So you guys you're trying to keep anybody from talking to the press, is that right?
No. Wait until our press conference.
Well, see, I won't be here for much of the press conference because I got to go to a bill hearing.
It'll be like, they're going to start in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Honest, it's...
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, what triggered that last conversation was me trying to interview. I wasn't running the camera, but I was just asking a gentleman if he wanted to talk to me about the news conference or about the issues that they're supporting.
Folks getting ready to start now.
Gather to call on Senator Judd Gregg to support the major economic recovery plan led by President Barack Obama. The Economic Recovery Plan is a bold initiative and that will create millions of jobs by making smart, long-term investments to strengthen our nation's economy. From grassroots to tops contacts to phone, not unlike those America has faced before. However, born from crisis,
I think they're calling themselves the Jobs and Economic Recovery Campaign.
So the first speaker is a bureaucrat with the State Employees Association.
Coming together here today because we are a nation in crisis, or failure.
I don't see any state reps here today, but I could be missing something.
We were barely hanging on, struggling to pay for health care and stay in their home. To help working families one by one right now. To help rebuild people.
I've asked at least half of the people who were there attending the news conference if they want to do an interview, and all of them have said no, so I'm going to move on to the next story. If I get a chance, I'll go back down and talk to them at the end of the news conference.
Meanwhile, this guy's calling for more Medicaid dollars as the news conference continues. Okay, so the news conference is ending now. Now, can I talk to you now about what it is you guys support and why?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm actually meeting my accountant in 2 minutes.
I thought you guys said that you would be able to talk to me after the news conference.
No, sir. I believe that we said that we'd be available for the press conference. But what's your name again?
It's Dave Ridley, R-I-D-L-E-Y.
And I thought I heard you said you run a blog?
It's RidleyReport.com.
Wonderful. Excellent. Well, I do look forward to reading it.
Why do you guys support this the stimulus package? Are you willing to use force to bring it about?
I'm not sure
or to impose?
By force,
well,
sir.
like if somebody didn't want to pay for it, didn't want to pay for the stimulus package, would you be willing to put them in jail?
That's not my role, sir. I don't work for the government. I work for a nonprofit organization.
Aren't you advocating something that would, if someone didn't go along with it, be use force to make it happen?
No, sir. I think that you're putting words into my mouth. But you know what's the great thing about America? You and I can disagree about these things, and it's just fine. So thank you so much. But I will read your blog.
All right, and I'll never use force to back my positions. I wish you could say the same. Yeah. Can I speak with regard to why you support the stimulus package for my video blog? It's ridleyreport.com.
You're getting me ad-libbing, huh?
I appreciate your willingness to talk. Some people seem afraid to talk about this.
You seen an elected official that doesn't talk?
Oh, you're one of the reps.
I'm a state rep from Concord.
Oh, okay, Dave Ridley.
Hi, Dave.
It's good to meet you.
John DeJoy.
I appreciate you being willing to talk about this.
No,
Were there any other reps here today? Just you, or?
I was the only elected official here today.
Okay, well, I can appreciate you at least being open about what you're doing. But this seems like a really violent thing against the American people, forcing them to pay for. There's bailouts in this, aren't there?
It's a tremendous amount of money. Mm-hmm. As I was just saying, we just spent $1 trillion on Wall Street bailouts with almost no accountability. Money that we know has gone into fixing offices, to paying bonuses, to paying for lavish trips. Mm-hmm. It is a lot of money, and I don't want my kids and my grandchildren to have to pay this back. The problem is, right now, the economy is stuck. And if we don't take bold action now, the economy won't recover from this. And we'll be paying the cost anyway through decreased productivity, through more government programs because people are unemployed. We're looking at, potentially, long term, the Great Depression again with breadlines. This is an investment. This is not just throwing money away. This is an investment in our future, and it's the converse of what President Bush believed. President Bush believed that if you put money in the top end of the economy, it will trickle down to everybody else. We saw that got jammed up in bonuses and in savings of companies. This is the opposite side of that. It's a trickle-up economy. We have workers who are unemployed, who can't pay their rent, who can't pay their fuel, who can't pay for their food in some cases. This money going into their pockets through jobs will put money right directly back into the economy. And after all, aren't we a nation of workers? You know, people didn't come to this country.
The Soviet Union was a nation of workers.
But think of why people came from England back in the Pilgrims' time. They came to work hard to have a better life for their families. That's all we want today. Is people want to work hard and have a better life for their families. With the number of unemployed people now, they can't work hard. There aren't the jobs out there for them to get. So by an infrastructure program, they will have jobs. They will be able to work.
Isn't that the gas tax is supposed to fund? I mean, there's huge gas taxes already in the U.S. We don't have enough money. Why can't we cut money? Why can't we cut spending somewhere?
I'm sure there are places to cut spending. I mean, I'm on the budget committee here.
How about just about all of them?
Well, I'm on the budget committee here in the state.
Yeah.
There are clearly areas to cut money.
Are you willing to reduce the amount of law enforcement money that's spent chasing people for owning marijuana?
I'm not willing to say yes or no to any program. Mm-hmm. I know that we've just talked to the State Department of Health and Human Services. What they have done is what every department needs to do and look at every line by line. We need to look at programs that have existed for 30 or 40 years and to determine are they needed today, or is it just something we've always done it that way? We need to examine every line of every budget to make sure the money is best applied. And if money is not being well applied, we need to remove it.
Well, what if folks have an objection to the way the money's being applied and they refuse to pay for it? Are you willing to put them in jail if they don't go along with your program?
I think if people have an objection, they need to communicate that directly to their elected officials. I hear from my constituents all the time about the budget. We're meeting around the state as a finance committee. I know people talk to their congressmen. I think to withhold money, there's always something every one of us doesn't agree with. To withhold money is not the most appropriate way to do this. It's to talk about it and to start a dialogue, to call your congressman. They're your elected official. If they don't get back to you and they don't talk to you, then we have a process for that. It's called an election. Now it's pulling together as Americans. Now is not a time for those fights.
Representative, I really appreciate you being willing to talk to me.
No
I know
problem.
you have some relatively tough questions, but I'll see you on ridleyreport.com.
Great.
All right, take care.
Thanks. Thank you.
This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by freedomainradio.com.